Gon is a fucking sociopathic little shit who doesn't deserve a friend like Killua. There, I said it. I could easily end the video right here. But what would be the fun in that? If you've watched Hunter x Hunter for yourself or read the manga, you might say that Gon is a bland character or that there's very little to no nuance to him. Honestly, with Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and Bleach being the only battle shonens I've seen up to Hunter x Hunter, Gon as the main character was a breath of fresh air. To be completely transparent, I've seen Hunter x Hunter 7 times already. It almost feels like a yearly tradition at this point. I feel like what doesn't nearly get brought up enough is how much of a nut Gon truly is. I'm not saying it never gets brought up, but you always see and hear about how Gon and Killua have one of the best friendships in anime, but not how much of a bad friend Gon could come off across. I understand how some of this isn't so glaring on the surface because he is just a little kid, and as most little kids, he gets a pass. Well, not from me, not today. I really want to chastise Mito for letting Gon leave the house in booty shorts when you got sickos out there like he's Sokka, but there are larger issues at hand. If you think Gon is ass, boring, and has less depth than a puddle on a tile floor, that's fine. I'm not here to tell you why you shouldn't think that. I'm only here to expose, from my very own perception of what I observed and gathered, that Gon is a fucking sociopath. Or to be more accurate, that he has sociopathic tendencies. Sorry for the clickbait. Sociopathic tendencies just doesn't sound as good. So for any Hunter x Hunter fans that might stumble over this video and feel like,
you highlight negativity, period! You a negativity highlighter!
I'm not. I'm only psychoanalyzing a fictional 2D character who I still love. I also feel like these sorts of videos can sometimes come across as pretentious with onion layers of depth that are really reaching, because some people will make whatever they love seem way deeper than it really is or intended to be. But I promise not to do that here. Now, because some people love throwing around words and labeling people and things incorrectly, let me establish that the clinical term for a sociopath is a person who has antisocial personality disorder, and people with that disorder often manipulate others for personal gain. They don't really feel remorse for their actions, and they lack empathy. Again, I will not be diagnosing Gon with this, as I believe he only shows tendencies, and also because I don't have a degree that says I'm credible enough to be diagnosing anime characters with anything. I'll leave that job for the people on Twitter. God, I'm long-winded as f***. I gotta start off small here to show the little seeds of sociopathy that lingered behind those big eyes as we build our way up. During the final stage of the Hunter exam, Gon had to go against Hanzo, a formidable opponent who Gon had no chance of beating in a fight. But because Chairman Netero deserves to be placed in a loony bin, but hasn't, he structured the final portion of the Hunter exam to where only one of the final applicants would not get their Hunter license. The only way to beat your opponent was to get them to surrender. If you were to kill them though, you would be disqualified. This is a sick twist because people who would have made it this far naturally aren't going to want to call it quits. Although some applicants weren't completely stubborn. Gon, stubborn about no longer wanting to wait to become a hunter so that he could search for his father, refused to surrender against Hanzo, even though he would have another chance against a different opponent. Or hell, he'd have the rest of his life trying to get a hunter license. But Gon was so stubborn that Hanzo had to quit as he began to realize that death itself wouldn't make Gon surrender after searching the emotion in his eyes. Mind you, Gon could have just taken his loss and moved on to the next match, but he was a prisoner of his determination and he was shackled by his stubbornness. Now these aren't unique traits for a battle shonen MC to have. Honestly, it feels like an undying will with a traumatic past involving loss seems to be the consistent recipe more times than not, but not with Gon. Gon knew he was utterly outclassed, and not wanting his legs to be sliced off, he tried to reach a compromise with Hanzo, because he didn't want to give up, nor did he want to lose his legs. Look at this smart, hard-headed little shit trying to find a way to finesse a win where he has no business winning. And it isn't even an intentional finesse, because even after Hanzo surrendered, Gon is automatically awarded with a hunter license. But even then, Gon refused to win like that. Hey man, in my book a win is a win, but wanting to win exactly how you believe you should isn't too much to raise an alarm for. I am just showing how stubborn and far this kid is willing to go just to have his way. On Greed Island, after Bisky starts giving Gon and Killua pointers as she sees them struggling, a Freakazoid hiding in the cut starts to stalk them. And I just gotta say real quick, you know how in My Hero Academia, or in X-Men when you're a mutant, you can really draw the short end of the stick and get some shitty ass power, or one that morphs you to look insane? Yeah, in Hunter x Hunter, it isn't like that. Nen is one of the best power systems that I've ever come across with its versatility and how fleshed out it is, and given how it has drawbacks and restrictions to make your Nen abilities even stronger. But generally, you can create your own ability depending on which class affinity you have. Of course, personality and your level of output goes into consideration, but forget all of that for a sec. I say all of that to say that Banault, the stalking nutjob, has the Nen ability to identify everything about a person, just from cutting their hair and eating it. Yeah, that's his unique Nen ability. I'm not gonna say this power is completely useless. I mean, he could be a spy and get some quick intel on a person. But who in their right mind says, yeah, I know what I want to do. I want to have a spreadsheet of information about anyone I want to know about. Let me eat their f***ing hair to do that. No lie though, I feel like a doctor in a really poor area with little to no equipment could put this Nen ability to good use. Or God forbid you eat some hairy coochie and find out you're about to catch a nasty. I'm getting off track now. So Bisky f***s up Banault with ease using minimal movement, blowing his psychotic scissor-wielding back out, and she sees it as an opportunity to train Gon and Killua, given how they're already prodigies who just need a bit of polishing to become true diamonds, because she is a teacher at heart. Oh yeah, and if Banault tried to escape, or if Gon and Killua successfully knocked him out, or if he was unable to fight back anymore, Bisky threatened to kill him. Yep. Nothing like a good old-fashioned threat on your life to fully motivate you. I know I'm about to jump around a lot, but I want you to remember this for when I jump back to the York New arc. What I will say now is that Gon has just met this lady who was willing to help train him. Yes, she might be the teacher for one of his former teachers that trained him. Shout out to Wing. But he doesn't know Bisky other than how she presents herself to him. You can say Gon is just a kid traveling with no adult, so he's not going to make the best decisions, but it goes deeper than that, as you're about to see. For 2 weeks, Gon and Killua are trapped inside of this big ass crater, working on their speed, agility, strength, and focus as they tire out Banault, up to the point where he is no longer a threat and can actually be beaten with ease. Realizing he's outclassed, Banault forfeits and accepts death. But Gon is like, nah big dog, why would we kill you, even though you're a sadistic murderer who was about to prey on some little kids? It is funny how Banault just dips out and says he's turning himself in, after having an epiphany during his fight with Gon and Killua. See kids, sometimes violence is the answer. You just gotta physically knock some sense into some people. But you see how Gon is cool with letting Banault walk off into the sunset, and has no issue with him being a murderer? He was smiling, he bowed his head down, and he thanked the hair-munching killer. No big deal, right? Now let's look at the York New arc where Gon and Killua were captured by the Phantom Troop. After the boys' failed attempt to shadow Machi and Nobunaga, the 4 of them along with Finks and Pakunoda all go back to the troop's temporary base to decide what to do with the boys. Nobunaga in the meantime arm wrestles Gon and gets a bit emotional talking about the dead homie, Uvo. Spoiler, but yeah, Uvo's big dead, and Karapika deadass brought a shovel to that fight. One of the best flexes in anime history, as he knew that he was about to dog walk Uvo's big ass right into the grave. At this point, Gon doesn't know who the chain user is because they haven't seen Kurapika after they discovered Nen. But Gon sees the tears and the tone of Nobunaga, and this gets him pretty turned up. He tells Nobunaga how he thought the trope were all callous monsters, but after seeing how Nobunaga was clearly mourning the death of one of his own, Gon asks him why he couldn't spare a bit of that grief for the people they've killed. Gee Gon, what a mature grown-up thing to say. I'm not even going to begin expressing the walking hypocrisy that is Gon, because before I really drive home this point, I want to fast forward to the Chimera Ant arc, the best arc in the show. In the Chimera Ant arc, we see Gon really begin to struggle with his morality in a really fucked up situation. He blames himself for what happened to Kite and wishes to have him restored to make things right for being weak and leaving Kite to fight alone, even though the homie knocked him out against his will. A good amount of development and introspection happens with the main antagonist in the arc in Meruem, and some of that gets passed down to Pito after what happens during the palace invasion. Anyway, Meruem instructs Pito to heal Komugi, the blind Gungi player who Meruem has grown to care for. Gon knows none of this. His and Killua's mission was solely to keep one of Meruem's guard away from him, so that Netero and Meruem could duke it out one-on-one. And that one royal guard just so happened to be Pito, the one who killed Kite. After seeing the situation and Killua deducting that Pito's Nen beast was probably healing Komugi, this started to really piss off Gon. Gon grew more conflicted and angry as to how a creature like Pito could have done what they have done to Kite, yet still show compassion for a human. It made no sense in Gon's mind that shit could be gray opposed to being only black and white, which is fine, he's a kid, but Gon, who was clearly not thinking straight, was really about to murk Pito and screw up any chance of restoring Kite. And yeah, I know there was no restoring Kite, but Gon didn't know that. He always had great optimism regarding the situation. Anyway, Killua sees Gon going off the deep end and tries to reel his best friend back in. But then Gon essentially says that Killua has the luxury of remaining calm in a situation like this, because the situation means nothing to him because he had no connection to Kite. I really wish the 2011 anime could have had the first episode like in the 90s version, which better illustrates Gon and Kite's connection, but whatever. The fucking nerve of Gon. Yeah, Killua doesn't have this pre-existing relationship with Kite, but he's there for you, you ungrateful little shit. And let me say that I didn't need episode 116 to show me the type of friend Gon is. I'ma show you other points in a bit, but Gon was really lost at this point, man. I gotta say, how the hell does Killua's moral compass and social awareness chart higher than Gon's when Killua grew up being subjected to torture with being poisoned and electrocuted on top of other rigorous training to become an assassin at such a young age? But again, Gon didn't give a shit. He was tunnel visioned. He had to get what he wanted and nothing else mattered. To get back to my greater point, remember in the York New arc with the Phantom Troop how Gon asked Nobunaga how he couldn't spare a fraction of the grief for the people he killed that he showed Uvo? For this part, I'm not even going to explain myself. I'll just let the clip do the talking for itself.
私、一体できれば彼女次ゴタゴタ言ったらそいつを殺すすいませんわかった
Now, a arc later, here Gon is not showing an ounce of grief because he has to get what he wants. Komugi is innocent in all of this, yet for something that has nothing to do with her, Gon is willing to use her as a bargaining chip to get what he wants, using Pito's loyalty to Meruem against them. So at this point, you can be a murderer and can easily overlook it, but not when it happens to the immediate people you care about. Now some would say, yo, Pito killed someone he cared about, and how if they were in Gon's shoes, they'd crash out. Cool, I got you. I understand wanting justice, even if that justice goes against the law, but my point is don't be on this moral high ground when the situation doesn't involve you, but all of a sudden throw that shit several city blocks out the window when the shoe's on the other foot. Also, for people who are saying Gon wouldn't have killed Komugi, I have this brand new meme coin to sell you, and it's going straight to the moon, baby. Forget the look on Gon's face when he threatened to kill Komugi, just look at what happened in episode 131. Gon pretty much sacrificed himself to get a dub on a character he'd otherwise have no business beating. If a person is willing to throw away their life as easily as Gon did to get an empty ass victory, as dope as it was, they'd be willing to cash in on whatever threat they spoke out into the atmosphere. Because at that point, they feel as if there's nothing to lose. And there's nothing more dangerous than a person who believes that they have nothing to lose. I don't think I need to explain how this shows that Gon is demonstrating a lack of empathy in this situation, so I'll move on to how he's a pretty manipulative little bitch instead. Now, this is where I first realized that Gon was pretty sus when it came to being a good friend. Back at the Greed Island arc again, during the dodgeball match against Razor, Killua's hand got pretty f***ed up because he was holding the ball for Gon to punch that hole straight at the opposing team. Because Gon was using a great deal of aura to punch the ball each time, Killua's hand took a lot of damage in the process, because using his own aura to protect his hands would have weakened the ball after Gon punched it. When Killua gets called out for this and Bisky pulls his hand out of his pocket to show what shape they were in, Gon says he knew that Killua's hands were getting f***ed up, but the only reason Gon could give it his all was because he fully trusted Killua to hold the ball for him. Now, with the music playing in the background, and Killua smiling and his heart is melting, this seems like a pretty cute scene, and I'm with you. Until you circle back to Gon willingly f***ing up his best friend's hand to get a step closer to finding his father. You selfish little f***. I'm not saying Gon doesn't care about Killua's well-being. I mean, he went to his home to get Killua away from his crazy-ass family. A friend who didn't care wouldn't have went to those lengths, especially considering that Killua's family is a problem. I'd have been too pussy to get my friend out of there. The fact that poor Killua is willing to go through with it is pretty irrelevant. Gon knew he was f***ing up Killua's hand, and never even brought it up to say, damn bro, I know this is a lot, but I just need you to hold out a little longer so we could get this dub. He didn't do none of that. And then you got poor Killua who doesn't even know any better. Gon is his first friend, so he thinks all of this shit is normal. And this goes back to being stubborn. Hisoka is still in during the dodgeball match. All of that I trust Killua to hold the ball that Gon was saying. Out of the three of them on the team, Hisoka was stronger. The freaky ass clown could have held the ball for Gon. But nah. You'd think that Gon would rather f*** up Hisoka's creepy ass hands over Killua's, but whatever. I know plot wise it had to go down this way so Hisoka could end up smothering the ball after Razor served it back, and having his hands messed up might have made his feat less credible. But if that isn't enough to show you the type of character Gon is, let me swing back to the Chimera Ant arc one last time. Here we have Gon with Melly, and Melly's asking Gon if his other friend could be trusted, referring to Killua. And Gon answers with, if I insist on having my way, Killua will give in even though he won't like it. Bro, you can't tell me this kid doesn't know how to manipulate the situation, just so that he could get what he wants. Gon is exploiting his best friend's kindness. There's no other way to put it. Even Melly looked at Gon and stated how Killua must have it hard. Let me tell y'all right now, if one of my friends were to exploit my kindness, I'm not gonna keep being friends with them. Stop manipulating me to get what you want. Do that bullshit with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, not me. Post-editing me here. I nearly forgot to touch on the instance where Gon went straight up against Gentru and literally sacrificed his arm just so he could land a critical blow on him. The plan that he, Bisky, and Killua had all laid out and agreed upon, Gon said, nah, I gotta do it my way, because I gotta massage my little ego, because I don't like the thought of getting my ass kicked around like this, before I follow through with the actual plan. Because of this, the kid willingly sacrificed his arm, something that he could have easily avoided, even though Bisky straight up told him that in a fight Genther would win. Why would anyone sacrifice their arm just so that they could make a fight seem less one-sided, when the whole purpose wasn't even to... Anyway, back to the video. So again, Gon has to put his best friend in harm's way for personal gain, but hides it under the guise of, he's my best friend. Gon has manipulated his best friend into situations for personal gain, under the guise of, he's my best friend. And Gon showed no remorse for an innocent party, and was willing to use that innocent party as a hostage, just so he could get what he wanted. Now, go ahead and lie to me and tell me which one of you would still be best friends with a person like Gon.